Alright, so the key to getting this problem right is doing the setup right. So first I'm going to do tangent of theta equals -3, pi over 2 less than theta less than pi. That tells me that theta has got to, or sorry, alpha, sorry, has got to be somewhere in quadrant number 2. Because this is pi over 2 and this is pi. And if I'm in quadrant 2, then here's an angle that's drawn in quadrant 2. We're going to call that alpha. That's my alpha angle, and I know something about alpha. I know that the tangent is a -3. So in order for that to be true, the tangent is the opposite to the adjacent. So the opposite, this side has to be 3, this side has to be -1. Therefore, I have a missing hypotenuse, which turns out to be the square root of 10 when you do all the math, all right? So that is my alpha picture. Then I have a beta picture. Beta is between 3 pi over 2 and 2 pi, which means that it is somewhere over here in quadrant number 4. If this is 3 pi over 2, and then this is 2 pi, then I have some angle drawn all the way over here, and I'm going to draw my right triangle. This is going to be my beta picture. And I know something about beta. Its cotangent is equal to -3. Well, cotangent is adjacent to opposite, and it needs to be a -3. So this has to be 3, and this has to be -1 to give me a value of -3 for cotangent. Therefore, again, I have a square root of 10 for my hypotenuse. So on the left-hand side, so I'll highlight everything for you, this is your alpha picture. On the right-hand side, this is your beta picture, okay? And then we were asked to find, for part A, the sine of alpha minus beta. Well, that is going to be the sine of alpha, according to our formula, times the cosine of beta, minus the sine of beta, times the cosine of alpha. So sine of alpha over here, the sine is the opposite over hypotenuse, so this is going to be 3 over rad 10, and I'm going to rationalize that denominator in the next step. Okay, cosine beta, look at the beta picture. Cosine of beta needs to be 3 rad 10. Also, it's the adjacent over the hypotenuse, right? So that's a 3 over rad 10. And then I'm going to have minus the sine of beta is over here. Sine of beta is going to be -1 over square root of 10. And then the cosine of alpha is going to be also -1 over the square root of 10. Okay, so, whoops, sorry about that. So now, in my next step, right, I actually don't need to rationalize this because something nice happens for me. When I multiply these two together, I get 9 over 10. 3 times 3 is 9, rad 10 times rad 10 is just 10. Minus, over here, negative times negative is a positive. This is going to be 1 over 10. So this is going to give me 8 over 10, or a value of 4/5. So that's everything for part A. I got 4/5 for that one. Okay, for part B, let me move this up a little bit so you can see. It's asking me for the cosine of alpha plus beta. So cosine alpha plus beta is going to give me cosine alpha times cosine beta minus sine alpha times sine beta. Plugging in all the values here, I'm going to get -1 over square root of 10. If I look over here, right, these would be the same ones, okay? So cosine of beta is going to be times a 3 over the square root of 10. Minus sine of alpha is going to be a 3 over square root of 10. And sine of beta is going to be a -1 over square root of 10. Okay, all we gotta do is simplify this, so let me move this down a little bit. So that's going to give me -3 over 10. This is going to be minus a -3 all over 10. This is giving me -3 plus 3 over 10. That gives me 0 over 10, so this must be 0. Gnarly problem.